Okay, hello. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We are excited to be presenting our 2026 Organic Market Report. And my name is Tia Lofsgaard. I'm the Executive Director here at the Canada Organic Trade Association. And so pleased to welcome many of you. We've got a lot of participants on today's webinar. And the purpose of today's webinar is to give you quick insights and to really almost advertise the fact that we've got this beautiful new piece of data out there. I'm holding the one and only printed version right now. And we are going to be releasing this only in digital format. It is uploaded on our Shopify site currently. So you'll get all the links of where you can download it later. But we're going to go super high level and give you a bit of an insight in regards to what's in there. There is a full table of contents available on the website. And today we're just going to go pretty high level and just encourage you to kind of dig into the areas of the report that are of interest. I want to do a shout out to our contractors that worked with us on this report. So Marie-Ève Levert, she also helped write this. And myself, we worked together on editing it, and Barry Izzo from Izzo Creative. And moving on to the next slide, just a little bit about us, for many people who might not be familiar with our association. We are the Industry Association for Organic in Canada. We're membership based, and we essentially cover every operator that's out there, from farmer, from fishermen to retailers, manufacturers, and everything in between. So our association is really focused on doing market access and development, and of course, the market insights, data, and research is teaming up on today's webinar. But we also use a lot of this research not only to do our market development work, but also to do our regulatory affairs, to do our government relations. We're located here in Ottawa on the unceded and surrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin peoples. But we also engage with consumers and do a lot of retailer engagement. So, depending on who you are and what your interest is, I think we'll have a piece of insights in this report that will appeal to every single party out there. And our methodology. So, how we start, this is about a year-long process, essentially. Ironically, there is no one database of all organic products in Canada. So we work with multiple distributors and wholesalers. We work with retailers to get private label data, etc. And we have to compile an enormous list of universal product codes, UPC codes, and PLU codes to grab all the produce, fruit and vegetables, and then work with Nielsen on a methodology for the fresh meat and seafood categories. So we compile all of this, we send it over to Nielsen, and that serves as the baseline data for all of the report. We also, of course, work with trade data on here. You'll see that we've got a little bit of export data because that is another one of our markets. And we integrate the Statistics Canada export data, as well as this year we've got a new element that we're able to incorporate, which is the National Organic Program import statistics. So you will see when we get there that that has jumped our number on exports quite a bit. And it's not because of the numbers necessarily going up, it's the fact that we were able to get better trade data out of it, which is great. Then we do a series of interviews with manufacturers, institutes, trade associations, retailers, and lit reviews. So you'll see that in the full report, you've got a whole reference guide in regards to how the calculations were done and the different studies, etc., that we have incorporated into the report. And just to give you a highlight, the big reason why we really did this is we're hearing so much about inflation. We're definitely hearing about the, economic situation, but also a priority of food security. And of course, our association, our overall mission and goal is to make organic universally accessible. So we need this data and insights to be able to really look at the affordability pressures, what product categories, how consumers are changing the way that they buy, Or are they not buying as much organic due to the costs? And you'll see as we build out this presentation today that there is certainly a huge demand still growing in most product categories across the sector. And that trust and that confidence in certified organic products is really been built over decades, really just driving this strong consumer trust where consumers are shopping with their values. So, to start at the very high level, internationally, we have held the fifth position as the largest organic consumer market in the world for multiple years, and we continue to. So, this is based off of the sales details from 2024, but the market report is based off of all sales that happened up until between January 1st to 2025 to December 31st, 2025. So this is the global report. Our new updated market statistics will go into the FIBL, which is the Organic Swiss Research Institute. So the new numbers will go into next year's report that we'll be presenting at BioFach in Germany. But you can see that we continue, us in the United States, we continue to hold 46% of the whole market share, and that has declined. It used to be 50%. So you can see there's other markets around the world that are continuing to grow in a big way. And I can definitely tell you that EU and China are growing quite well, particularly with some of their policy directives that are happening in those countries. So here's the big reveal. We are now at 11.8 billion in sales. And overall, that is everything that is food and non-food. So overarchingly, it's a 24% growth. And this number, you may say, oh, I remember on your last quick fact sheet, it was 8% growth. Well, you got to go and get the numbers in order to not do an estimate. So now we've got the real numbers that we were able to actually do the final not a estimated version on. So it's 24% growth, not 8%, as we've been quoting off of a CAGR estimation. And you can see food and beverage continues to dominate at 89.75 of market share. Then we've got in declining order alcohol, followed by fiber, which would be cotton and linseed, etc., organic supplements, personal care, pet food, organic household products. And on the categories outside of food and beverage, where we get the hard Nielsen numbers, we do have to do estimates on alcohol, fiber, supplements, personal care, pet food, and household products. So that is something that we work diligently on with our personalized interviews, speaking to brands, looking at US market reports, and really doing that breakout, contacting different institutions like GOTS, etc. So that adds up to a total of 11.881. Moving on to just the food and beverage, and just to give you a sense of where the food and beverage is being sold in 2025, that amounts to the 10.66 that I had mentioned on the past slide. And you can see that if you include the overarching final channel of export, it is a 24% growth overall. But I wanted to take it to Canada only without it. And we did experience a 13% growth on food and beverage on alone. And you can see that, of course, supermarkets are definitely dominating. We still are seeing quite a few market share when it comes to the natural grocery chains or the independent natural health food sector. And club and warehouse is definitely growing year over year from where we've seen in the past. So lots happening there. Farmer Direct is also growing. I think we're seeing a lot more people buying from CSAs, Community Shared Agriculture, or from Farmers Direct, either in farmers markets or from on the farm. So lots of great details coming out in the report there. And then on the export side of things, you can see that we have risen to 2.58 billion. And what's really interesting is we're starting to get more insights, and the insights are not coming necessarily from Statistics Canada, We are constantly talking about how the export data that they currently are tracking is limited to 16 products. So I've been able to get the data directly from the EU, from FIBL, the Organic Swiss Research Institute, from the US, from their NOPIC data. That's the National Organic Import Certificate data that they've started tracking in 2025. And we have established that we are the third largest exporter of organic products to the combination of the EU and the US markets. That's the statistics that we got specifically from FIBL. When I delved into the details, we're the number one supplier to the United States, which I don't think is a surprise to anybody. And we are the 27th largest supplier to the EU. But when you break that down, most of that is tropical products. So, from the EU export side of things, we are the largest G7 nation besides the UK who supplies the EU. So everything else is more Ecuador, Jamaica, coffee, coffee peppers, mango, products from India going in. So they are a significant trade partner, and I've certainly been strengthening the relations with our EU counterparts and attending several of the EU Canada dialogue sessions to continue to strengthen that partnership. And so the big jump, really, which resulted in this year's report, is $1.9 billion worth of sales to the United States. In the past reports, we've only had access to the 16 products that are tracked by Statistics Canada. And overarchingly, that means that about 80% of what we were selling was not being tracked by the government, just through their trade statistics. So we've been able to see a 74% increase in this overarching number just by simply including our US figures, which we're very grateful to now have insights on. And a little bit of consumer insights. So 90% of Canadians households are purchased at least one organic product in 2025. So we're getting very close to a nice point where most people in Canada are really kind of understanding organic, or they're buying organic even if they don't know it's organic because it's becoming more accessible. But that brand awareness is at a 67% height, which is great. And the organic label is stated as being a decisive factor in 45% of consumer purchase decision. Of course, that is to say that only products that are 95% content up to 100% can carry the organic logo in Canada. So please don't forget that there's many products that use certified ingredients that do not carry the organic logo. And you can always just look for the organic claims on the side of the ingredient panel. And there's been quite a shift in the way that consumers are shopping these days. You can see that nearly 3 out of 4, every dollar that has been spent on mainstream organic food goes to prepackaged goods. It used to be that people would really shop on the perimeter. They would go into the fruit and vegetables, they'd go into the meat aisles, all on the outside of the store. And what we're finding is that organic is becoming way more mainstream, way more accessible, and people are really being drawn to it. And you can see some of our like nice shelf talker tags. We're doing our part in trying to make sure that people are understanding where organic is and merchandising better with the work that we do with the retailers. Also, in this report, we saw that there's a real morning ritual engine for organic consumers, and that people are really focused on buying milk, coffee, eggs, and yogurt. And these 4 product categories really contribute to the highest sales revenue that we're seeing in the report. But milk and coffee alone generated 117 million in new sales between 2023 and 2025. So that is certainly something that's not going away. I know that the price of coffee has skyrocketed, but we have been looking at the year-over-year sales, and that also has increased. Also, fast-paced growth categories that we're seeing, organic energy and nutrition products saw a 78% spike in sales value. We are seeing a lot more people going towards hot instant tea. It more than doubled since our 2023 report. And nutritious portable foods such as snack bars achieved a 15% growth rate. So lots of growth happening across different product categories. But Not in all product categories. What we're seeing is that a little bit of movement in the way that people buy things. So it used to be that, the market share is still highest when it comes to fresh produce, fresh fruits. But I think COVID taught consumers a lot in regards to buying in bulk, buying frozen, and that there's been a huge move towards the freezer category. And really, it makes sense that it mitigates perishable risk and that they're trading out. They're not sacrificing organic, they're just changing the way that they're buying it. So you see that there's a huge growth in organic frozen fruit sales. And we're also seeing some insights that, of course, we're seeing consumers want to really have an in-experience economy. They want to know their farmers. They want to go to the farmers markets. They really want to kind of experience what's happening behind the food products, not just buying it. So they're really just looking for quality. They're really looking for premium. They're looking for products that are very attractive to them, that they've learned more about. So you can see that there's some segments in this report where people particularly have kind of grown towards it, and it's really coming out in the snack food category, in the baking ingredients, and in functional superfoods. And some of this is not just seen through our insights. Once you see the report, you'll see that there's a lot of different reports that we've got that we're quoting where people are moving towards it because of all sorts of other indicators, such as social media. Social media is a huge influence. And just to kind of indicate, we've seen this for many years, that the family is really the pathway to organic engagement. So many people maybe at a younger age didn't prioritize it for themselves, but now we're seeing not only millennials, but also Gen Z as they're starting a family. It seems to be the place where people are starting to consider what's in their food, look for options that are going to be healthy for their family, and that young parents are treating baby food and infant formula as an inelastic necessity. So we're seeing a huge growth when it comes to infant formula, and nearly all of the baby food out there is certified organic. Also, the TikTok, the Instagram, it's going crazy. You can see that 1 in 3 Canadians are now following food-related social media. I know whenever I talk to my daughter, she says she gets all of her recipes from TikTok. So 84% of Gen Z youth report trying food experiments seen online. And you can see in the report that there's been a huge growth of matcha and pickles. So much so that we started looking into why there was such a huge growth, and TikTok alone gave 103 million posts under hashtag matcha. And then people went crazy experimenting with fried pickles and all sorts of pickle exercises, which got 9.6 billion posts on TikTok and Instagram. So this is a real thing to watch, especially if you're a brand online, in regards to how people are learning about new recipes and the use of your product. Fresh growth, there's been some declines, definitely, that we didn't expect to see, but we can see that it got picked up in many places. I think a big part of this organic vegetable decline was in packaged salad. And with the Buy Canada strategy, we certainly saw lots of grocery stores over 2025 not carry American brands of packaged salad, which was a primary source. I believe I'm starting to see it come up where we've got a handful of new Canadian organic brands, which are substituting that out, but that has really affected that sort of fresh vegetable category. Within the fruit category, bananas and apples, they did sustain their robust demand, so all good there. Organic meat seems to be experiencing inflation, and we are seeing a decline there on a little bit of the sales that we had seen in prior years. But just to give you an overarching, over the last 3 years, this is the organic market share by category. So you can see fruit and vegetable did decline collectively from 5.7 to 5.4 together. In the market report, we break them out separately and give you the details of why and where, which product categories. Under prepackaged food, you can see that there's a little bit of a jump there, but quite a huge jump from 3.3% in 2023 to 2025 at 3.7. And then organic fresh meat and poultry, same market share, but just not growing. And there are some highlights in the market report that we thought we'd just pull out for you. You can see that in the plus 30% growth category, baby food, 91.4% growth, infant and toddler snacks, 63, edible seeds, 58%, Swiss chard, 41%, coffee substitute, 39%, infant cereal, 38%, microgreens, 37, and mushroom, 36. Kale was in that medium category between 10 to 30% at 27%. Lemons and limes, 25%. Baking aids, 23%. And tofu and meat dairy alternatives, 22.5. So those are just some quick insights that you can get. Just to really look at the effect of inflation, there was a huge section in our report in regards to what's happening in regards to pricing. And what we've been experiencing in the last couple of years is the shrinking gap between what is considered an organic premium to the cost of conventional or non-organic food. And in the report, we do quite a detailed breakout and section, but it says that between 13 to 15% of organic items in the produce and packaged category are now priced lower than non-organic equivalents. So the inflation overarchingly is affecting the price of food coming up, and it's removing the barrier of there being such a high price differential between organic and conventional. And it's not across the board, so we wanted to break that out where we can see that in fruits, there's about 13% that are less expensive, vegetables 14%, meat not so much, it's pretty much the same. And then packaged food that's less expensive is 15%. So some exciting insights there to dig into. And just to kind of break it down in regards to the actual sales growth per product category, I already mentioned sort of that the vegetable category has declined to minus 4.4, mostly related to those packaged salad category, but huge growth in most of the other categories. You can see packaged food really grew 20.7%. 10.4% on meat and seafood, 3.5% on fruit, and a total across all categories 14.3. So this is limited to just the Nielsen data, not all the other natural health food, Costco, etc. And this is where you can grab that QR code. We're launching it right now. So we've just gone live about an hour ago on our website. So you can see that the for Coda members, of course, there's many that qualify for the report being entirely free. And then there's other members who are under a different category that are subject to a 602 is what it ends up being. We will be sending out, just following this webinar, a email to each one of our members with the download code that allows you to get the discounted rate. And for non-members, you're welcome to contact us at any point in time, but you can just go ahead and if you're interested in membership, contact myself or Kim Delalo, our membership manager. Happy to have you guys come on board. Obviously, there's a lot of incentives. We also have a partnership with Nielsen where you can get 25% off of your own brand specific Nielsen data. So lots of great things here. This is just a little show on the screen there of where the discount code will come up. So just to highlight that it's all ready to go now. And if you have any questions or you're needing help with the discount code, you can contact communications at canada-organic.ca. But we will give you something for free. Every year we do our quick facts. So you can download here just the main top points that we've got on the report. The backside is the 2024 production statistics, but we have updated the front side with all the most up-to-date 2026 organic sales market statistics. So you've got two QR codes. Hopefully you got them. We will send out a copy of this presentation to all the registrants for today. But just a very quick highlight. And hopefully you'll see all sorts of great things in there that'll be useful. We are very happy to collaborate and bring this forward to our members and to the general stakeholders. We also do custom reports. So if there's some insights that you feel like they're not in the report or that you'd like something custom to your region or your product category, you can get in touch with us and we can let you know whether it's possible or not possible, and we'll go from there. But thank you. I'm happy to have spent the last 25 minutes with you guys. Feel free to contact me. We're available at any point in time. General inquiries can go to info@canada-organic.ca. Thank you so much, everybody. And if you have any questions, reach out. We're here for you. Thanks so much. Take care.